Okay, so you want to be an ICT test analyst.
That's awesome.
You've sent us some really cool stuff from RoleCatcher about it.
Yeah.
Looks like you're ready to dive headfirst into the tech world.
It's a great field to be in.
And this role is hot.
It really is. And you're smart to be looking into it, but I get it.
Yeah.
The name ICT Test Analyst.
It doesn't exactly scream excitement.
It really doesn't.
Not quite as catchy as, say, rocket surgeon.
Exactly. So let's ditch the jargon and unpack what these folks actually do because it's way more interesting than it sounds.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Remember that time your banking app crashed right when you were trying to pay a bill?
Ugh. Don't remind me, that was not fun.
Or how about when that new game everyone was hyped about turned out to be a glitchy mess?
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Those are the kinds of disasters ICT test analysts prevent.
Really?
They're the unsung heroes making sure software works flawlessly before it ever reaches you.
So no crashes, no glitches.
Exactly.
No frustration.
No frustration.
In a world where we rely on technology for almost everything,
Right.
their role is...
More crucial than ever.
Yeah, more crucial than ever. So they're kind of like quality control ninjas working behind the scenes to ensure a smooth user experience.
Exactly.
I like it.
And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
RoleCatcher points out that ICT test analysts often design the tests, but don't always execute them.
Okay.
Imagine a detective meticulously planning a sting operation, but not necessarily being the one to make the arrest.
Okay, that's a pretty cool analogy. So it's more about strategy and analysis than just clicking buttons.
Absolutely. They need a deep understanding of how systems work, how users interact with them.
Right.
And then they need to design tests that uncover even the most subtle flaws.
Wow.
That's where those analytical and problem-solving skills come in.
Okay.
Think of them as digital detectives hunting down bugs and vulnerabilities.
And those bugs can have real-world consequences, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like in healthcare or finance, a software glitch could be a huge deal.
Absolutely. A faulty medical device or security breach in a banking system
Right.
could have disastrous consequences.
Yeah.
ICT test analysts play a critical role in mitigating those risks and ensuring public safety.
So they're not just making our digital lives easier. They're potentially saving lives in some cases.
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow. Wow, when you put it like that, it sounds like a huge responsibility. So what kind of skills do you need to become this digital Sherlock Holmes?
Well, you might be picturing someone hunched over a keyboard, all about the code,
Right.
but it's actually way more multifaceted than that.
RoleCatcher mentioned that you need more than just technical chops, right?
Yeah, totally. Of course, understanding how software works is essential. But the guide really emphasizes these other skills. Analytical thinking, communication, even a dash of design sense.
Design sense. Now, that's not what I expected. How does that play into testing software?
Well, think about it. A good test needs to be well designed.
Right. Okay.
It's not just about randomly poking around. You have to strategically plan out your approach considering different scenarios.
Right.
And that requires a certain level of creativity and design thinking.
So it's like designing an experiment almost. Yeah. You need a hypothesis, a method, and a way to analyze the results.
Exactly. And just as important as designing the test is communicating your findings.
Okay.
Remember, you're often explaining complex technical issues to people who might not be as tech-savvy.
Right.
That's where those clear communication skills are key.
So you can't just be a coding whiz.
You got to be able to talk.
You need to be able to explain things in plain English.
Precisely. Imagine you've discovered a critical bug that could potentially expose sensitive user data.
Oh, wow.
You need to communicate that to the developers in a way that's clear, concise, and emphasizes the urgency of the situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's like being a translator between the technical world and the real world.
exactly. And you might even be involved in training other testers on new tools or methodologies, which actually reminds me of another interesting point. RoleCatcher made knowledge of education and training principles.
Oh, yeah, that one threw me for a loop at first. What's that all about?
Well, it makes sense when you consider that ICT test analysts often need to explain technical concepts to non-technical audiences. Not just developers, but maybe project managers, even clients. Being able to break down complex information and present it in a way that's easy to understand is a valuable skill in this field.
So this role is like a perfect blend of technical expertise and people skills.
Absolutely.
You're not just dealing with machines, you're constantly interacting with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you progress in your career, those people skills become even more crucial.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher outlines a pretty clear career path from entry-level to senior positions, with each stage requiring a different mix of technical and soft skills.
So what does that progression look like? What would you be doing as a newbie ICT test analyst versus someone with more experience under their belt?
Well, starting out, you might be assisting with testing, like creating test scripts based on someone else's design. You're basically learning the ropes, getting familiar with the tools and methodologies. Think of it like an apprenticeship where you're soaking up knowledge and building that foundational understanding.
So you're not expected to be designing complex test cases right out of the gate.
Exactly. You'll probably be doing a lot of documenting and reporting, paying close attention to detail, making sure everything is in order. Then as you gain experience, you might move into more of that design role.
Okay, so you start by executing and then you transition into strategizing.
Yes, a junior ICT test analyst might be developing and executing test cases, analyzing results, and even collaborating with developers to pinpoint and fix those pesky bugs. You're not just reporting problems anymore. You're actively involved in solving them. It's like leveling up in a video game where you unlock new abilities and challenges as you gain experience.
That's a fun way to look at it. So what happens when you reach the top level? What does a seasoned ICT test analyst do?
As you progress to a senior role, you're leading testing efforts on larger, more intricate projects. Think complex systems with millions of users. You're not just hunting down bugs, you're thinking strategically about risks, managing teams, and even mentoring those junior analysts who are just starting their journey. It's a leadership position that requires a deep understanding of the entire software development lifecycle.
It's like climbing the quality assurance ladder, taking on more responsibility, and tackling bigger, more exciting challenges at each rung.
I like that analogy. And speaking of exciting challenges, let's talk about the tools of the trade RoleCatcher throws around terms like JRA and Selenium. You know, the usual suspects in the world of tech jargon.
JRA Selenium. It's like a whole different language sometimes.
It is a lot of jargon.
But don't worry, I'm sure you can help us decode it all. What are these tools and what do they actually do?
You got it. Let's start with JRA.
Oh, wait.
Imagine a giant virtual whiteboard where everyone involved in a software project can see what's happening, who's doing what, and where any problems are popping up. That's JIRA in a nutshell.
So it's like the central command center for software development.
Exactly.
Wow.
Developers use it to track bugs,
Mm-hmm.
designers use it to manage feedback,
Right.
and project managers use it to keep everything on schedule. It's all about collaboration and transparency.
So instead of a million emails flying back and forth,
Right.
everything's neatly organized in one place.
Exactly. Now let's talk about Selenium.
Okay.
Remember those test cases we talked about?
Yeah.
The ones designed to find those hidden bugs?
Right.
Well, Selenium is like a robot assistant that can run those tests for you automatically.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds incredibly helpful, especially when you're dealing with large, complex applications.
Right.
You can't possibly test every single feature manually.
Exactly. Let's say you're testing an e-commerce website. Selenium can be programmed to go through the entire checkout process, adding items to the cart, entering payment information, the works.
Wow.
And it can do it much faster and more accurately than a human ever could.
So it's like having a tireless, super efficient tester on your team working around the clock to make sure everything's running smoothly.
Precisely.
That's
So-
amazing.
And the beauty of these tools is that they're constantly evolving.
Right.
What's popular today might be replaced by something even more powerful and intuitive tomorrow.
Which brings us to a crucial point, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about mastering a specific tool. It's about understanding the principles behind it. You need that solid foundation to adapt to new technologies as they emerge.
You got it. The best ICT test analysts aren't just tool experts. They're problem solvers who are constantly learning and expanding their skill set. They see the bigger picture of software development and how their role fits into that ecosystem.
Speaking of seeing the bigger picture, let's talk about RoleCatcher itself. It seems like a pretty comprehensive platform for anyone looking to break into this field.
It really does. Their AI-powered features are particularly interesting.
Yeah, like what?
For example, they claim to help tailor your CV to specific job descriptions, which could be a game changer in such a competitive market.
That's huge because, let's face it, crafting the perfect CV can be a daunting task. Knowing what to highlight, how to format it, it's almost an art form in itself.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher seems to be offering a way to take some of the guesswork out of the equation. They analyze job descriptions and suggest improvements, potentially making your application stand out from the crowd.
That would be amazing.
It would?
It's like having a virtual career coach in your back pocket giving you personalized advice and feedback.
And don't forget their massive database of interview questions.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Practicing with those could be incredibly valuable for calming those pre-interview jitters.
For sure. I remember how nerve-wracking those tech interviews can be. You're expected to think on your feet, solve problems on the spot. It's a real test of your skills and composure.
It is. And while RoleCatcher can't guarantee you'll ace every interview, having those practice questions at your fingertips can definitely boost your confidence and help you prepare for those curveballs that interviewers love to throw.
So it's like having a secret weapon in your arsenal, giving you an edge in the job market.
Exactly. But even with all the fancy AI tools in the world, you still need to bring your A game.
Right.
You still need the knowledge, the experience, and the passion to back it all up.
It's like having all the best gear doesn't automatically make you a champion athlete, right? You still need the talent, dedication, and drive to succeed.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And in a field like ICT test analysis, where the landscape is constantly changing, that commitment to continuous learning is essential. The best test analysts are like lifelong students, always eager to explore new technologies and expand their horizons.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've gone from bug hunting to strategic thinking to AI-powered career coaching, all in under an hour.
That's right. We've covered a lot.
So to wrap things up for our listeners out there who might be considering a career as an ICT test analyst, remember this, it's not just about finding bugs, it's about ensuring quality thinking, critically communicating clearly, and embracing a mindset of continuous learning.
And who knows, maybe the next time you're seamlessly streaming your favorite show or effortlessly navigating a beautifully designed app, you'll have an ICT test analyst to thank for it.
That's a wrap on today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the fascinating world of ICT test analysis. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those bugs at bay.